the right time, that egg can still get fertilized on the way out.
Yeah.
So technically, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
think
like,
always one of the silliest arguments about people who think that like if you truly believe that like aborting a fetus that's like 2 weeks old or whatever is like murder, like you're the most compelling thing you should be working on in life is women getting pregnant, because there's literally like a genocide every single day of accidental miscarriages and shit, and it
Yeah.
seems
yeah.
strange for somebody to pretend that they care so much about it but not address that at all, you know? Yeah.
So the line between contraception and abortion.
Yeah, there's this weird ideological animism placed on like the situation of abortion for some reason. Well, I think the reason really is, especially in the United States, it serves as this amazing wedge issue that wasn't very hard to really deeply implant into the politics of like evangelical and fundamentalist Christianity in the United States. Because the evangelicals are both a political group and a religious group at this point. They're just like a formalized political bloc, essentially. So I don't doubt that people actually do feel that they believe in like pro-life shit, and like they actually do believe in like fundamentalist or evangelical arguments against abortion and all of that shit. But I really think that in the US, the social role of the abortion debate is far more than what any person just feels about this idea of a pregnancy being terminated or canceled or whatever. Because for as many abortions as there are, there's a shitload of other things that are basically the same as abortion, but just aren't a doctor going in and canceling it. It's all the same shit. It's just somebody isn't willfully ending it. That doesn't that in fact this is the idea of this is minimized as much as possible to highlight the culpability of the actors in the abortion scenario. And it's really interesting because it seems like I don't think people they didn't reason themselves into their culture getting more and more intense about the abortion debate. Like, that's not just something that happened in a vacuum, but rather it's like this complicated socio-political event where the social attitudes of these like conservative Christians began to get more radical as they encountered political tension and pushback on these things. So, like, I really think that the heights we've reached with tension on abortion in the United States is particular to how we handle it here. I don't think that a bunch of Christians reason their way into becoming more extreme on this thing. It's really an effect of like the political situation.
Abortion. If your definition of abortion is um, killing a fertilized egg, it would seem like an IUD is
Right, like there's all kinds of ways in which the same thing happens, including something someone's doing that they don't count as abortion, but this short and exact list of things that are abortion to them are just murder, which tells me they haven't like reasoned through all the different cases of pregnancies ending and sort of like said these are the ones we hate. They're just operating on like political and emotional will.
an abortion.
Depending
Like,
on how, yeah, I think, but
yeah, and several forms of contraception are abortions. But
It's sort of like radical Christian views on pulling the plug on comatose people. They didn't reason their way into that. They don't understand what the idea of like brain death and stuff like that is. They don't have like a detailed understanding of the situation. They just have like this religious fervor, and which plays heavily into whatever emotional situation the person has.
but that's why I pushed you on the fertilized egg, the frozen fertilized egg situation. Which, by the way, I think that you absolutely can freeze fertilized egg.
Yeah, actually, somebody emailed me the whole process for that. For in vitro
Yeah.
fertilization, I think they're almost always exclusively freezing fertilized eggs, and then they test them after a little bit of development to see which ones are most likely to be healthy or whatever. So that is the case. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I push there is because I don't think that destruction of fertilized egg is a lot of people's definitions of abortion. I think people's definition is like ending a pregnancy. And
Maybe I will say,
Right. But to me, that doesn't make sense. To me, because especially if it would seem the most sensitive, like discussion apparatus of the Supreme Court can't get down to the detail of when life begins, then I think it entirely appropriate as a way to fix the discussion to just treat all of that the same. You know what I mean? Unless you want to tell me, you tell me the different like priorities at different points in the pregnancy, because to my as far as I can see it, ending the pregnancy at the third trimester or ending it with the Plan B pill is like the same thing. I'm not saying we should push it and allow people to do like post-birth abortion. I'm not going that far, but I would like an explanation of why a Plan B and like a second or third trimester abortion are totally different things.
I know you're a little younger. I'm 33. I don't know if you remember this. I don't remember what time period it was.
And it's also worth noting that a bunch of these religious zealots do view the egg thing as abortion. So it's not that clean cut. You know what I mean? There really is an aspect to the political discussion where people will go that far. And we've even seen dumb shit like stem cell research blocked over this dumbass issue.
Oh, wait, okay. Wait,
so it's complicated.
26.
Oh, 26, okay. Do you remember stem cell stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, that was a really, really big talking.
I more clearly remember the end of it, but I barely remember the beginning of it. I was very little. That was like early or mid George W. Bush shit. So it was probably around like 2003, 2004, so 18. Well, I guess I wasn't that little. I was like 10, 11 or something.
Point for conservatives. Stem cell research was like one of the biggest fucking things.
The stem cell research shit is bullcrap. And so this is a major reason why you need to remember all of the ways that like the conservatives have pushed this issue, because you will have people in arguments say, well, most people think of abortion as or abortion topics as ending this later pregnancy. That's not true. A ton of conservatives will back the idea that extremely abstract usage of like fetus material or destroying a fertilized egg is abortion. This happens all the time, and they try to push that idea. It's just not popular, and it doesn't work that well. If they could, they would do that. But people find it a very shitty argument. So, I mean, there's a lot of complexity to how people push this abortion debate.
So they talked about when it came to abortion. So it wouldn't surprise me if they attacked some forms of
it's fucking dumb. It doesn't... It has no... They never really have evidence when they say shit like that. It just sounds good, Encourage abortions... I don't even think, it's not like they just go in, they like take the abortion and it's like you have this abortion in a bag and then you do science on it. It's a little bit more complicated than that, and I think, you cultivate the stem cells and all this other shit. So I don't think it's as simple as they can do as much science as they have bags of abortion. You know what I mean? Just like, here's one lady's abortion, here's another. The incentive structure isn't that fucking simple, but they will argue like it is. And you can see it when they try to attack Planned Parenthood, is they will make it seem like Planned Parenthood is a baby parts cartel, when it's fucking not. There's just some parts of the leftover, basically, waste that you can use in science.
That wouldn't surprise me.
And it's a lot more complicated than, well, I have 10,000 gallons of baby feet or something. Just like this huge drum of partially liquid, like, fucking fetuses. No, it's a lot different than that.
Yeah, in the talk that we had, it sounds like I'm denying that is a thing. I just want to be clear. I do not dispute that conservative groups have been against stem cell research for the longest time. I have a friend who has muscular dystrophy, and who really wants.
Yeah, it's not like the woman is spread eagle over this trough and it just sloshes into this thing, and then they send it right to this bio lab with a bunch of tubes and beakers and shit. It's a lot. There's a lot more going on than that. And nowadays, the amount of stem cells available has nothing to do with the amount of abortions, because the process for creating it doesn't require like a bunch of biomass like that. It's like decoupled from that component.
More stem cell research.
But they will argue as if it's not.
Research to be done. And we would talk about it all the time in like high school and growing up and stuff.